Hi, it's Elizabeth. Welcome back to my channel where the only life crisis we're having isn't mid, it's Sims. So we're just getting a few things done around the farm and taking care of some of our Sims needs before we head off to the holiday ceremony at the church. And here we are just arriving at the medieval church and baths, waiting for that ceremony to complete. And now we get to check that off our list for completing the holiday tradition. While our Sims are in town, they decided to take advantage of the baths, or at least a few of them did, whereas Annalise and Hugo decided to have a snowball fight. Back at the homestead, we are doing our other holiday tradition, which is having family over to have a bonfire. And late that night, we have a visit from Grim, who comes to reap one of our hens. R.I.P. little chicken. A few hours later, Grim actually is back in the later hours of the morning to reap a second chicken. And this day we are looking at doing some planting for our winter crops. So we're just taking a look at those. But unfortunately, we don't have all the seeds and all the supplies that we need to do that planting. So we send Thomas into town to go ahead and purchase the supplies that we need. Thomas is able to buy some of the seeds and things that we need, but a few of them are out of stock. So we're going to head back to the homestead and see about planting what we can plant. Unfortunately, the ground is actually frozen because we are in the dead of winter, so we're not able to do that. But luckily, Grim comes back to reap yet another chicken. Meanwhile, we've got good news. Annalise is letting Hugo know that they are expecting a baby yet again. And Henry is finally trying his hand at selling some of his wooden crafts. Hugo has been encouraging him to do it, so Henry's going to give it a shot. Our little Hugalina is also growing up from a baby into a toddler. We had to do our death roll, so not a 4, 8, or 12 is what we're trying to stay away from as a toddler. She did beat it. We rolled a 2. And so Hugalina got to age up, and we went ahead and randomized her trait. And, oh goodness, Grim's back yet again. R.I.P. chicken number 4. And for whatever reason, Grim has decided, I guess he's just been such a frequent visitor, that he's just going to stay around this time. And Hugo decides he's going to let him have a piece of his mind. After reaping 4 of our pet chickens and also his little baby, a previous episode, Hugo tells the Grim Reaper to take a hike. And then a few hours later, Grim's back again to reap chicken number 5, and Hugo's just feeling pretty defeated. Life on the farm has to continue, so we've got Thomas going over here to check on the cow and get some milk, so he can take that into town while he's also trying to see if he can pick up the remaining seeds that they need, since we're going to try again to see if we can get that winter planting done.
Congaloy. Arnarbzerza.
Back at the farm, Hugo has decided he's actually going to go ahead and try to sell some of these wooden sculptures that Henry has been making. Henry is the craftsman, but Hugo is really much more of the salesman. And he is a little bit more successful in starting to sell some of those crafts. Inside, Cecily is playing with her kiddos.
Sangula.
And Annalise is also getting some chores done. Thomas is hugging it out with his little baby. And then complaining about hunger, which is just okay because Cecily is actually calling everybody to dinner. So they all head in.
Oh, Cardool.
And Henry and Annalise get a chance to say hello to some of the dogs. Little Hugoline is getting to know some of the chickens. And then they all call it a night. This morning, it looks like we might have a little bit better conditions for our planting, so we're going to try to do that again. And this time, we are successful. Hopefully, those plants will get big and strong in time for us to harvest tomorrow. After that, Henry gets back to work now that he's been selling some sculptures or getting those sold thanks to Hugo. He's going to go ahead and work on a few more. This one is actually an angry sculpture. And Annalise is practicing some of those parenting skills she's going to need very, very soon by getting the little baby to bed. Everybody heads into town to go to our St. Valentine's Day ceremony. This is the first time the kids have gotten to go. Afterwards, they hang out and talk to their grandmother until it's time to go back to the farm, where everyone is feeling the St. Valentine's vibes in a different kind of way. Just a lot of love in the air.
Maybe. No.
And everybody's heading off to bed. Snow is falling, and boom, Annalise is in labor. We head inside to see her give birth. Give birth.
Oh, no, boo. Oh, Nibana. Oh.
And we pick out a name for the little girl. But up next, we still have to do those death dice rolls. One for Mama Annalise, and one for baby Margaret.
Oh, Waxwin. Oh. Whoa. Oh. Yasanap. Oh, eat boy. Skimbo.
And if you were around for a previous episode, you know things did not go very well for us on these rolls last time. First up, we're doing the death roll for Annalise. So we just need to get anything other than a 1. And this is out of 1 to 20. And we rolled a 10, so Annalise is safe. Next, we're going to roll for Margaret. And we just need to stay away from anything that is a multiple of 5. So no 5s, 10s, 15s, or 20s. Again, out of a dice roll from 1 to 20. And this time we got a 19. So everybody survived. Little Hugolina's up. She's kind of hungry and tired. And so she comes over to check out what's going on and ends up throwing a little bit of a tantrum. Annalise had just climbed into bed to try to get some rest after giving birth, and Hugolina comes over and wakes her up. So they go get her some food. And after that, Hugolina's still throwing some tantrums, making a mess in the kitchen.
Oh. Kids.
Before finally deciding to head off to go get some sleep. In the morning, some of the crops are actually ready to harvest, and which is great because it is the last day of the season, which means this is our last opportunity to harvest any of these crops. So that's exactly what Thomas and his brothers are heading out to do. Once they get done with that, they're going to have some that they can use for their own purposes on the farm, and then we'll also have Thomas go in town sometime in the next few days to see if he can sell off some of the surplus. After that's done, Henry decides now that he's gotten a few pointers from Hugo, he's going to go ahead and try to do some selling of his woodworking for himself. Got several of the townswomen who have come by, including Cecily's mother. Little Peter is expanding his imagination playing with his little wooden toy that was actually made for him by his Uncle Henry. And we saw right there that Henry actually just made a sale to his own mother, actually. Thomas is, of course, taking his opportunity to talk up Henry to all the local ladies, see if he can make a love match, which he's always trying to do.
Oh.
Nah.
But where is Henry? For whatever reason, he's hanging out in Cecily and Thomas's bedroom, and all these lovely ladies decided to come find him there, while Cecily was actually trying to head to bed, and she decides to step out for a moment and just give him a chance to talk. No love connections yet, but it's a start.
Moochie Peachy, Shabby Baloo.
As it gets a little bit later, all our guests are starting to head home. The Godfrey family gonna get something to eat and then head to bed. And that's where we're gonna leave it here with this year, with just one last little shot here of our newest addition to the family, little baby Margaret Godfrey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next year.